What is up, everybody? It's your boy Narcolepsy Boy 94, aka Malik, back here again with another little podcast. Got some things we're going to talk about today, all wrestling stuff, a lot of stuff going on in the media, a lot of stuff going on all over wrestling. So we're going to talk a little bit about, the Bloodline, Sami Zayn, CM Punk, and the AEW situation. We're also going to talk about the whole White Rabbit stuff going on in WWE right now that, a lot of people are speculating about. As always, though, I have guests. I'll let my guests Mr. Beck. You can introduce yourself, plug your social media so everybody where they can follow you, and then Lewis will go after that. And then we got a little, the game pick between the two that we always do, but we always do it at the end of the show, but we're going to start in the beginning of the show today, just kind of get the feel. So go ahead, man, and then after that, Lewis, you go, and then we'll just start flowing with the ball.
All right. Well, I don't know if you know me. My name is Blazer. Most of you might know me off of TikTok as Mr. Beck. Heck, I don't even know what my TikTok handle is right now.
I just thought it was Mr. Beck. That's what it came up.
Yeah,
for me.
that's what the username is, but the actual at is Blazer_Beck. So BLAZER_BECK. That's the actual handle. No, I'm just a small little wrestling creator on TikTok. Love the whole wrestling talk community on that. It's really one of my favorite pastime hobbies to do. So, I mean, that's it from me. I ain't got much to say on that part.
Yeah, go ahead, Lewis.
Can you guys hear me good? Am I straight?
Yeah,
You're all good, man.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Lewis here. You guys can subscribe to the podcast I'm a part of, Wrestling Chop Shop on YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe to that, and let's get into this shit.
All right, so we'll start with the pick between the two games. Like I said, we always do that at the end of the show, but we'll do it in the beginning of the show today. Switch it up, make things a little bit different. So Lewis is the one doing it today. I usually am the one who comes up with it and makes everybody else do it, but Lewis is the one doing it today. So the honors are yours, sir.
So we're gonna do this or that edition, but I kind of wanted to switch it up, and we're gonna do character edition. Now, it's not who you think is better in the ring or whatever. It's who you think who owned their character the best, right? So let's start off with number one: Bray Wyatt or Kane, who owned their character the best.
Oh, that's tough.
Now, define character though. Are we talking like all of them? One specific character? How are we doing that?
Just all of them, like who
all of
own their characters.
Ooh, because that just made it harder now.
I'm gonna say Bray Wyatt. Kane, OG Kane was something else, but the Cody Rhodes character was really good, but the Fiend character, that's one of the coolest characters I think I've ever seen. It just unfortunate how it was booked. Plus, if he's gonna come back, I'm sure he's gonna have a different character we haven't even seen. So, like, if he has another character on top of that, on top of the two good characters he's already had,
I would have to probably agree with him, Bray, just because Kane, he had his great run in the early 2000s, especially when he debuted. What a amazing debut that was. But 2010s came around and his character started to swindle down a little bit. But Bray's always been that guy. It's like you never knew what was coming next from him. And so I would have to go with Bray Wyatt on that one.
I'm gonna give the advantage to Bray by a little bit, just by a little bit.
I didn't think I'll stump y'all on that one. I thought it would be Bray Wyatt off rip. All right. Roddy Piper or The Miz?
Piper.
Piper. Easy.
Okay. Triple H or The Rock?
The Rock.
I'm about to go with Triple H.
The Rock off rip for me. That was The Rock.
All right. This one might be a little bit harder. Edge or Randy Orton?
Randy for me.
Randy. The whole Legend Killer thing was phenomenal.
Legend Killer thing, but the when he turned that 2009 run, that's okay.
Oh, that 2009 run. Ooh.
It's crazy. Hulk Hogan or John Cena?
John Cena.
Cena.
Tommaso Ciampa or Seth Rollins?
Seth Rollins. Character-wise,
yeah.
this one's kind of a layup. Undertaker or Ric Flair?
Undertaker.
The
greatest character.
All right. Macho Man or Kurt Angle?
Oh, character-wise, Macho Man.
Yeah, Macho Man easily. I mean, oh yeah, snap it to a Slim Jim. I mean, so
Eddie
good.
Guerrero or Mr. Perfect?
Eddie.
Oh, character-wise though, ooh. I'm gonna say Eddie. Mr. Perfect though was perfect.
Yeah.
I'll say Eddie.
And last but not least, colorful face paint Sting or Crow Sting?
Crow Sting.
All right, that's it.
For sure. Face paint Sting was cool, but I mean, Crow Sting. I would even pick Joker Sting over babyface blonde Sting. Honestly,
Joker Sting in TNA was pretty cool. That shit was fire.
All right, so let's touch on the stuff with going on with the White Rabbit stuff. We've only seen little small interactions as far as like these little games and teasers they're putting out. But before we hop into that, I know you made a video on TikTok, I think 2 days ago or something like that, about like a big theory. Talk about like how you came up with the theory or what your thought process was, because we don't even know who the White Rabbit is. So I'm assuming that you believe it's going to be Bray Wyatt.
Honestly, I'm still holding on that it's going to be Cross somehow, some way.
Okay.
I feel like the White Rabbit is more or less manipulation kind of deal. Because Bray Wyatt, of course, he is one of those characters that he can manipulate you in any type of way to get him, like to get you on his side.
Right.
I mean, look at Alexa Bliss. I mean, like that's a perfect example. But no, it's just ever since they brought Cross back and the way they've been using him, the way they've been portraying him, and the way they should have done it in his first run, I really feel like that on top of now having Dexter Lumis, you know, debuting, doing what he's doing. And then the whole thing with Alexa, that she's still carrying around the Lily doll. And I didn't include her in it because I felt like it was kind of obvious that if he was to return and build a faction around this or a stable, that she would have end up being a part of it.
Right.
So I mainly wanted to focus on Cross, Scarlett, and Dexter, because those are three people that you don't really expect to see with Wyatt, but you can see them fitting in perfectly with him.
So what about a lot of people throwing out the theory about Braun Strowman being there too? I guess Huskus, because the pig, it was in there too. What do you think about that? That'll fit too well.
I feel like due to the history they have, storyline wise, it would be a good fit. But also, I don't know. I feel like the way things ended last time between them, it might not work out.
Yeah, when they had the little, that was during the pandemic era when they had the little, you know, I can't remember what the match was called. It was at Extreme Rules and everything. It was like the little cinematic match and stuff.
Yeah.
What about you, Lewis? What do you think about the White Rabbit?
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm like familiar with Cross's work outside of WWE because like that's all I fucking know is wrestling. I can see why people say Cross would be the White Rabbit because he was known as the White Rabbit on the independent circuit and Impact and Lucha Underground and stuff like that. But I just kind of feel like it's a little bit too early for like a huge character change for Karrion. You know, like he just came back. They finally built up this presentation that they finally wanted him to be on the main roster, Triple H's point of view. And I don't understand, like, I don't understand if Vince was still in charge and he'd do this character change, but I just can't see Triple H doing a drastic character change already. So I do believe it's Bray Wyatt. I'm on that train now. Like it's for sure Bray Wyatt. And shit, I think he's running the faction. I agree with Beck's video.
My thing is, though, I want to see how y'all feel about this. I don't really see Karrion Kross being like a follower, though. Like he looks more of like a leader to me. You know what I mean? Like Bray Wyatt is more of a leader too, and I can't see like, even though the idea of the faction would be cool, like, because I made a video about it, like, oh, that would be a cool faction to put together, but like, Dexter Loomis, I could see kind of being a follower just because he was like mid card and everything like this. Okay, Alexa Bliss definitely could see that as well because she obviously followed Bray Wyatt before. But even like Braun Strowman now, like I don't know, like I feel like they're outgrown of the shadow. You know what I'm saying? Like Karrion Kross to me, like even like in the group chat when Lewis was telling me that because I haven't watched Impact in years, and he was telling me like Karrion Kross was in a group with Austin Aries and Moose, and Aries was the leader. I'm like that seems so weird to me, bro. Like Karrion Kross is not like he doesn't look like a follower. You feel me? Like he looks like somebody who would lead something. You know what I mean? So how do you guys think that would be weird? Like to see him kind of maybe being a follower of Bray Wyatt, because a lot of people felt that way about like Finn Balor when he was going to join the Judgment Day and Edge was still going to be there. People kind of felt like Finn Balor was more of a leader, even though he doesn't really look like a leader now. But before we knew what was going to happen, like he was leader of Bullet Club and everything, which was like a big group on the independent scene. And people were like, I don't really know if Finn Balor can be a leader by an Edge. You know what I mean? Like he seems more like a leader type guy instead of a follower. I feel that way about Karrion Kross. I mean, I don't know if y'all feel that way, but that's just how I feel.
I think, Karrion is my favorite superstar on SmackDown and shit. Shout out to Mitri. I was talking to Mitri about this, but me personally, I want Karrion to be by himself. I want him to wreck everybody the same way how he was in NXT. I want him to kick ass. That's what I want him to do. I don't want him to be in any kind of faction. Not that it wouldn't be cool. I'd be open to him being in a faction, but I'd rather have him just go back to his NXT days and just dominate everybody. That's what I personally want. Instead of Karrion, I would like to see Joe Gacy in the faction. Joe Gacy's creative as hell. Bring him up with Bray Wyatt. That's a great way to bring him up.
Yeah, and the other two guys that are with them too, who are the Grizzly Young Veterans, but they're not that Grizzly Young Veterans anymore. But maybe that could be something right there. What about you? I mean, Beck, do you think it'll fit as far as them being a group together, or do you think it'll be a weird mix?
I kind of see it that if he does end up being a part of a faction with Bray, that same with how Solo is in the Bloodline, I feel like Karrion could be the main powerhouse. He could be the main guy that goes out and does the things that Bray needs him to do.
Like the enforcer type thing.
Exactly.
Like the enforcer. I mean, that could be. I could see that. That could also be Braun Strowman too, though. Braun Strowman thrown in there. He could be the enforcer, as far as he kind of was when the Wyatt family thing was around. He was the big guy. You know what I mean? Kind of this larger than life type dude. I'm with Lewis though. I do think this is Bray Wyatt officially. Before, it was kind of speculating like. I remember when Edge was doing the whole promo package stuff, I kind of thought that was Bray at first, like, was that a little Bray Wyatt? But then they started teasing like the old school stuff that was like connected to Edge. So I was like, it's probably Edge, you know what I mean now. But I just can't see who else this could be besides Bray at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if it's not him, it has to be somebody that, number one, we don't expect, and somebody that can live up to the Bray Wyatt potential as far as like shocker and excitement value.
That's hard though. That's hard.
Yeah, so it's like there's nobody else out there, I feel like, besides him. Like there's nobody else there. And I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like it's got to be him at this point. Like if it's not him, then I really don't know who it is. You know what I mean? At this point, like I'm like who else could it be? And plus, what makes it so cool for me is that Bray Wyatt is so mysterious. We really don't know like if this is really him. We're all kind of speculating it's him, but we all don't know like when he's gonna come. A lot of people were like that thought he was gonna show up on SmackDown, but this because they showed like the 9/23 stuff didn't mean like that meant anything. That could have just been like the date of yesterday. You know what I mean? It could have been that was yesterday's date. It could have been like, hey, something else has come in as far as like a little game or something. We don't know what that meant. So plus, I don't know if you guys saw, somebody else pointed this out too on social media. I can't remember who, but if you look at the Extreme Rules poster, like with the superstars in it, it has like
a lantern in the back.
Yeah, it has like a little lantern in the back and like fireflies and stuff. So I'm like, okay, like I mean, could it really be him? I mean, maybe he shows up at Extreme Rules. I think pretty sure the main event will be Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in the strap match. So we're pretty sure that'll be the main event. But I'm kind of like, I don't want to get my hopes up too well because I'm like, I don't want to get too excited for Bray to come back. Then it really ain't Bray. They're like, oh damn, fell for that shit again. But at this point, I feel like, I really feel like it is him. I can't think of anybody else who it could be at this point, possibly. So the White Rabbit thing is If you guys do you guys think the White Rabbit has a connection to Bray Wyatt, or do you think it is Karrion Kross because he was the White Rabbit in the independent scene? So, I mean, that would fit well with him. But do you think it's somebody else that we aren't even thinking of?
Go ahead, Beck.
Well, honestly, I really do feel like it's Bray, because if you watch that first little teaser they did on what was it, Raw, the whole QR code with like who killed the world? Oh, you did. If you look at the fonts of the "you did" and the little hangman puzzle, it's the same fonts on Bray's old merch. Merch. What was it? That "Find Me" with the little lamb. So that's the same font. I don't know if that's just coincidence or not, but that was another big thing. It's like, okay, it's same font, same design. Like, makes sense for it to be Bray. But if it is Cross, I feel like it's just more of a they're just going to keep building him up to be this unstoppable force to potentially might be the one who dethrones Roman of the titles.
What about you, Lewis? Do you think? I mean, the White Rabbit. You've seen the independent scene, so you already know. But
I mean, it kind of seems a little bit inevitable, you know. Like, I mean, with the whole White Rabbit thing, I kind of dig down deep and, you know, like really deep into it, and I kind of, you know, did some trace to Alice in Wonderland and shit. And if you remember the Hangman game, you know, when what was it, when the White Rabbit said, "Come with me" to jump down the hole.
Yeah.
You know, if you remember in Alice in Wonderland, you know, the whole, like, my whole mindset was when when she followed the rabbit down the hole, took her to this world, and, you know, fucking the Mad Hatter and shit. Bray Wyatt dressed up as the Mad Hatter before in the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah.
Who do I think is the White Rabbit? Karrion Kross. Who follows Karrion Kross? Scarlett. You know what I'm saying? So that's where my mind was at. You know, I didn't look at it the way you guys were looking at it. Like, I was like, you know, the way how the Hangman game ended, I was just thinking so much of Alice in Wonderland, because I'm like, it's kind of making a little bit sense to me right now. But I feel like what I think this whole thing is doing right now is, I feel like they're trying to basically set Bray Wyatt free. Like, the whole mini game of going through the door and shit. Like, I feel like there's gonna be a scene where they release Bray Wyatt
through a door, like he comes out of a door or something like that, like
a door or a hole. Because when it says "who killed the world," you did. It's like, what made Alice almost kill the world? Her curiosity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, what if they're curious and they just release Bray Wyatt? And he just released, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. My mind going crazy right now.
There's little pieces that do fit to it, because another thing you brought up, like Alexa Bliss, like, why does she still carry around the doll? Like, she's not the dark character anymore. She changed her theme song. She don't dress up like the dark character anymore, but she's still carrying around the doll. So is she still having some connection with the evil side? Like, is she still got a little bit of the fiend in her that she don't want to let go? Because, like, that's just little details that we a lot of people may not even be paying attention to, because, like, she was carrying around the doll before. So people are like, oh, well, she's, you know, carrying around the doll. That was kind of her thing. But, like, the doll doesn't really fit her gimmick right now. Like, she's not evil. Like, she's not dark anymore. So, like, why is the doll still there? And you look at Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis is probably the most mysterious guy on the roster. He doesn't cut promos. He don't talk. He's stalking The Miz right now, and we don't even know why. Like, there's no legit reason right now. As, like, we don't even know what he did to The Miz. Like, we don't even know why he's targeting The Miz. We just know that he's stalking The Miz for some reason, and we don't even know why. So I just feel like there are certain connections that also could fall in place and go to it. Braun Strowman doesn't really have a connection right now. The only connection he had is that he was in the Wyatt family as the Black Sheep years ago. So, like, that's the one connection he has with Bray. But everybody else, you know, there could kind of be some similarities there too. And to see what the possibilities could be make me excited, because, number one, I trust Triple H when it comes to storylines and longevity, because he's shown me that he cares and he can creatively book them well in NXT. So I have faith in it. But I'm more excited to see what I don't think Bray Wyatt's coming back as the Fiend. I don't think he's coming back as Eater of Worlds. I think it's a new character that we haven't seen yet. And that makes me more excited because he's very creative with his character work. So I'm like, okay, like, what's next? You know what I mean? Like, what could he possibly bring to the table that could be better than was before, because he had two great characters. They just weren't booked properly. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as longevity was. So if he already had those two good characters that were good, how is he going to be able to top those two and make it better than what it is now? So that's what intrigues me the most. So I'm interested to see what happens. Plus, like, I ain't gonna lie, when they be showing like the little codes in the back, sometimes I don't even be peeping those. Like, I just be missing those, and then like I see social media like code in the back. I'm like, wait, there was something in the back. Like, oh shit, I gotta go back and see. I don't even be looking at that stuff. So like little background stuff like that. Somebody could be in the crowd. Like, I see people like, you see that person in the crowd with that thing on or something. I was like, what? Like, little thing. Like, somebody had a sign with the code on it in the crowd. I was like, what do you mean? Somebody.
What's kind of wild is the two creepy characters that have came back to WWE, which is Dexter Lumis and Karen. They instantly went after somebody though. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I kind of tried to see if there was like a connection between like Drew and Miz and shit, and like I'm just doing little things like, all right, is there a connection between Drew and Miz? Because Karrion immediately went after Drew. He put Roman on notice, and then Lumis goes after Miz. It's like, I don't know. Are they trying to think? I can't think of nothing.
I couldn't think of any connections between Bray and Drew. I remember Miz and Bray had that little thing. I think they had a little something going on, like in pandemic era, because they had that match at TLC and everything. So I do remember something like that. But Bray and Drew, I don't think they cross paths like that for real. I don't remember any little unless he just wants to take out Drew McIntyre, like unless he just wants to target him. But I don't know though, man. I don't know. I do kind of. This is tough though. The Extreme Rules match. I feel kind of not bad for Drew, but I really still feel like Drew deserves to be the world champion in front of the fans at least just once. But with Roman having this iconic championship run, and then like now he's working with Karrion Kross, like if he kind of feels like the guy that's just putting people over to help people grow, you know what I mean? Which kind of sucks to an extent because Seth Rollins kind of in the same boat, you know what I mean? But I'm hoping that at least something could come for this, you know what I'm saying? Because at Extreme Rules, I'm thinking like I don't see them having Karrion Kross lose his like first big pay-per-view match, you know what I mean? That wouldn't make sense. But Drew McIntyre, it would kind of suck for him to lose too, you know what I mean? Because it's like you kind of want him to start building back up momentum. But I'm interested to see how it could fall in place. I'm not sure what's going to happen next. But if I had to bet, though, I would say my gut instinct is telling me that's Bray Wyatt. I don't know what he's coming back as, whether it be the Wyatt 6, whatever that is, or what character he's going to be, some type of demon or something. I don't know what the hell he's going to do, but something is telling me that it is Bray Wyatt. I don't know if he'll come back at Extreme Rules because it's kind of like a weird show to come back at, if you ask me.
I'm kind of suspecting, not Survivor, either Survivor Series or Royal Rumble. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, because I don't see him coming back at Crown Jewel either. And I would feel like Survivor Series with War Games.
Now, if Bray Wyatt shows up on screen, I think it'll be kind of like an MJF All Out thing where he has a mask on. You know what I'm saying? Like probably like a White Rabbit mask on.
So like he's dressed up as a White Rabbit type thing. You can't show his whole body though. His frame is obviously noticeable. So
you can't do that.
I think it would have to be like his face or something. I'm interested to see.
If you remember though, I don't know if you saw this too, Beck, but what was it? Like his mask designer posted on Twitter of like a bloody rabbit or whatever.
Yeah,
like, If you could put that costume onto Bray Wyatt and have him be on screen and tease the shit out of us, that'll be crazy.
He also posted something too. It was like I don't remember what it was. I don't even know how to describe it though. It was something like, let me see if I can find it real quick. It was something like,
what would y'all want Bray to do when he comes back? Would y'all want him to get revenge on Alexa or whatever? Like, what would you like Beck? What would you want Bray?
Biggest thing I would want him to do is to not go for that title. Bray Wyatt is one of those iconic character wrestlers that does not need a title to be over. I feel like his win back in 2016 at Elimination Chamber was great. He got a title. He deserved it more than anyone during that time. But the way they used him when he had that title, why would you do it then? Same with The Fiend. The Fiend was one of those characters he portrayed as one of those unstoppable forces where he was just coming in every night, laying out every superstar, wins the title, and then goes out and loses to Goldberg. Like, that's just, it's not, to me, that's not how you build up one of your top stars as an unstoppable force, just to have them lose to someone who really didn't need that title in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
So for him to come back, I feel like he really just needs to continue what he did at the start and just completely wreak havoc and be that sadistic, mind of a character that we all fell in love with.
Now, here's a question I have for both of y'all. So with Bray Wyatt coming back, would you in a sense, on like a Roman Reigns thing, would you have him be a special attraction to pay-per-views where if you want to see this guy wrestle, you got to watch the pay-per-views? Like, you don't want him wrestling like every week? Because that's me. I feel like Bray Wyatt is at that level right now where he deserves to like, if he's wrestling, it got to be like on a premium live event, big ass match. I don't want to see this dude wrestling every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's on that level now. But what do y'all think?
That's one of the reasons that hurt the Fiend to me. They didn't use it as a special attraction. And I really love the Fiend character too, and I would love to see it come back. But the idea of him coming back as something different also intrigues me. But it would have to be a special attraction. I don't like the way he used the Fiend when he was like the Mr. Rogers character, and then he was the Dark Fiend. Like, that was cool because he was two different people. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know if this is going to be the same. It could have the same aspect. Maybe he brings back the Mr. Rogers character, but now he's not the Fiend no more. He's something different. You know what I mean? Something that we like, something even more evil, more dark. So I'm interested to see. I definitely think he should be a special attraction. Like, number one, yes, don't have him go after the championship. That to me is like, that was already a red flag for me. Like after the match at SummerSlam, his first feud was going after the championship. So I was like, oh no, like that's already a red flag.
They pushed him too soon before the fans could like resonate with him and shit.
And then they had the Cell match, which didn't make sense. And then they put the title on him, and then that ended with Goldberg beating him. So that was terrible. And then he had another championship reign, but then that lasted for a week because Roman came back, and then they instantly put the title on Roman. So it's like, just keep him away from the championship. Just put him in storylines that people can be invested in. Kind of like in the beginning, the storyline with Cena, the storyline with Roman in 2015. Like, put him in storylines that people can be invested in that don't involve the title. But you have to actually have him win storylines. One of the main parts that hurt him back then was that he was losing all the storylines he was in, so nobody believed that he could win storylines, which kind of devalued Edel Rhodes' character, which why he had to reinvent himself into the Fiend. And then the part with the Fiend that hurt the Fiend is that they put the title on him, and then they had him lose it to people. They had him lose it in ways that hurt him. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I trust Triple H with Bray Wyatt's character. I think Triple H will allow Bray Wyatt to be more open and creative with his gimmick, and I trust that he'll make Bray Wyatt a legit top star in the company that he should have been years ago. But these are the pictures right here, so I'm sure you're talking about this bunny right here.
Oh yeah, that's just scared the shit out of me, dude. Oh,
and then this right here was also.
Hey, what the fuck is that, yo? Oh man,
he posted this on Twitter before the bunny, I believe, and this was like, this is when people really thought he was coming back the first time, and he posted this on Twitter. I'm like, yo, like, what is like?
That pig kind of had like a Dexter Loomis frame.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, like I said, like.
But I showed again. Yeah, that is a Dexter Loomis frame.
It was very dark and weird looking, the stitching and the mouth guard and everything stuff. And this was the rabbit, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm interested and curious to see what it could possibly mean. I don't know, but only the future will help to tell with that. But let's switch over to the Bloodline real quick. So Sami Zayn, officially yesterday, was inducted into the Bloodline as the honorary Uso. How do you guys feel about that? Are you guys rocking with Sami being the Bloodline? Obviously, I think we all expect at some point, they're going to throw him out, because he's not really blood related, but I'm sure at some point he won't be in the Bloodline for I'm hoping at least the run will last for a while, but I think at some point we all know they're going to turn on him. But I don't know, guys. I mean, Lewis and I, you know how I feel about the Bloodline, so I ain't got to speak on it. But I mean, what about you, Beck? What are your thoughts on the Bloodline? Do you acknowledge it? Are you against it?
I'm a bit of both. I did not like it in the beginning, but it kind of did grow on me. I do admit. I acknowledge,
in the beginning of you talking about in the beginning of with like the whole Jey Uso stuff.
Well, with the whole Jey Uso stuff, that was beautiful. I loved that. But then it just started getting consistent, or just kept doing the same stuff over and over, and it was just kind of getting stale. And so I kind of fell out of it. But I feel like this whole new change in creative really has helped the Bloodline, bringing Solo up. The whole thing with Sami now, it's really helped them get back on track to being that main attraction that they needed to be. But no, last night, that whole segment with Sami and everything was one of my most favorite moments that has happened during this whole Bloodline storyline. It's just what really made it though is the way Jey Uso was acting during the whole thing.
Yeah,
that for me
take it off.
So great.
He's obviously. I think eventually he'll come around and accept Sami in the Bloodline eventually. He's the only one who's not really with it. They'll have some like tribe meeting or something like that. But how are you with Roman's championship run? Some people like it, some people hate it. Are you somebody who dislikes it, or do you feel like it fits well with Roman being champion this long? Because we haven't seen somebody doing it in a long time. How do you feel about it?
I feel like for the character and the gimmick that Roman's doing right now, holding a championship is perfect. Holding both titles is not what we need. Because you have one dude on SmackDown who's holding both main titles, leaving Raw completely empty for just the United States Championship pretty much. Yeah. And Raw Women's. So I feel like eventually down the road, they need to split it up, but definitely keep a title, specifically the Universal title on Roman, just a little bit longer, at least before or till Mania.
Okay. I definitely think the unification of the titles, it just doesn't. And every time if you notice, every time WWE's done it, it never really worked out. You know what I mean? Like they tried it with Jericho, but they never booked the storyline properly with that. They did it with Triple H, and he didn't have it that long. They unified and became the Undisputed title. Then they did it, like Orton had it, Daniel Bryan had it, Cena had it, Brock, and it never really fit well when they did it like that. They need to find a way to get the WWE title off Roman though. He definitely needs to keep the Universal title just because he's had it for 2 years. You know what I mean? So, and I think he's gonna have it for another year. I think he's gonna break Hulk Hogan's record at this point. So you got to find a way to. My idea was what they should have done is they should do a draft again, and then Triple H should allow Roman to pick what brand he wants to be a part of, but whatever brand he chooses, he has to give up the title. So if he wants to be on SmackDown and take the Bloodline with him, then he has to give up the WWE title and bring it back to Raw, or vice versa. I mean, I think that would be the most storyline wise. It would make sense, and I think it would be fair. You know what I'm saying? Because like Roman has both titles, so he can't be drafted because he has both championships. So allow him to pick what brand he wants to be on, and then he can go to that brand, and the WWE title, you can have a tournament or something, whatever they want to do for that title. But that was my thought process, but they haven't done a draft, so I don't know if they're going to do one. So I don't know how you get the titles off of him. So I don't know. They have to come up with something. I know he's facing his next title defense against Logan Paul, but we know Logan Paul ain't winning that title.
I feel like that's where it might happen, though.
Oh, you think so?
I feel like we have a theory cash-in happening.
Crown Jewel. But do you think he'll win both titles, though?
See, that's the odd thing about it, is if they do go with a cash-in, is he getting both titles? Is just getting one title? Like, because that's confusing to me as well. Like, how is that going to work?
See, the thing is, though, they've already announced the match for both titles, though. So I feel like if they were going to do that, they would be like, he's only defending one title or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's for both titles. I mean, personally, there ain't no way Logan Paul beating Roman. I don't see that at all. Theory cashing in possibly, but I don't know if they'll do it over there in Crown Jewel. I don't. Like I said, it's interesting. They have to find a way to get the titles off Roman, or at least one. The WWE title has to be separated from Roman. And I think maybe Triple H is still trying to figure out a way to do that. I feel like if Triple H was already in charge by WrestleMania, I don't think he would have done the unification match. I think he would have just had it be one title and something differently. But now you got to find a way to get the titles, separated and get the WWE title back to Raw so somebody else can be the champion. That makes it tough. How do you do that and make it make sense? The way I thought about it, I thought it makes the most sense. But if you do it in a match, maybe like Roman has 2 title defenses against 2 different people on one night or something like that. Or maybe a triple threat or something. I don't know. I'm curious to see what they do.
I personally feel like they missed their opportunity. They missed their opportunity at Crown Jewel. They made a mistake. I feel, me personally, I don't have a problem with the match. I mean, I had fucking Roman winning, but I think they kind of set themselves up on Clash at the Castle with having it be for both titles. It should have been for the WWE title, and the way how Drew was set up to win with the spear and then the Claymore, that's exactly how he should have won it. I think the storyline for Drew was built up perfectly. Him whooping the Bloodline's ass before Clash at the Castle and exposing how vulnerable Roman is without the Bloodline. And then the ending of the match without Solo getting involved. I think that was probably the most perfect ending for Roman. If it was only for the WWE title, that was the moment to do it. Now I don't have any idea or any clue how they're gonna take the fucking title off of Roman, but they missed their opportunity with Drew. That's just my.
The only thing is that Drew's on SmackDown too, so like if he won the WWE title, I guess he'd have to be on Raw. I'm curious to see though. I mean, I feel like honestly, Roman could just give up the title if he wanted to. Like he never, if you notice before the unification match, he never really seemed like he cared about the WWE title. Like he didn't really, and like storyline wise, he wasn't intrigued by the unification match at first when Brock threw it out there. He was like, I don't really care about the WWE title. If you notice when he hit Brock with the title at the Royal Rumble, I think it was, he kind of threw the title to the side like it was garbage, you know what I mean? And so like he never really shown that he really was invested into that title, you know what I mean? So I think if he just wanted to give it up, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. Like, hey, I don't really care about this title, you know what I mean? Like,
I think what they'll probably do is the way how Roman's character is fucking built up. Is my shit bugging? No, I'm good. Okay. How I think Roman's character is built up, I feel like they're gonna make Roman hit a year with the WWE title as well, and then he'll eventually toss the shit to the side. Like you guys see, like I made this piece of shit title relevant. Everybody wanted to fight for this title because I was holding it, and then throws that shit to the side, prove the point. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that'll work with his character.
What I was thinking. That's what I was thinking too. I feel like at this point he's walking into WrestleMania with both titles. And I think he's going to crack that year. And then maybe the next time on Raw, he gives up the WWE title and say, I held both championships for a year. Nobody's done that shit. You can have this back or some shit like that. And I'm going to keep this because ain't nobody taking this from me. So that could be a thing. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure how they'll separate the WWE title from. I still think eventually they will, but I'm just not sure exactly how it's going to be done at this point. You know what I mean? Because they haven't made it seem like they're going to, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do it, but I think they should do it eventually. But I don't think they will do it until after WrestleMania at this point. I mean,
me personally, I feel like if there's any time Roman's going to lose, it's going to be next SummerSlam of 2023. That's what I think he'll lose.
But see, who would be the one to do it though?
Yeah,
me, I'm probably naive. I still think Drew is the perfect guy. I
think we should separate the question. Who do you want it to be and who do you think it will be? It's two different things.
Who I want it to be is Karrion Kross. I ain't gonna lie. I want Karrion Kross. I want Karrion Kross so bad. Who do I think? I'm still sold on Drew. Like the way how Clash at the Castle ended and shit like that. I see Drew getting his lick back.
What about you, Beck? Who do you want it to be and who do you think it will be?
Who I want it to be is hands down Seth Rollins. That man has busted ass this whole past 2 years. And the way their match ended at the Rumble,
it's terrible.
There's obviously something that they can build up from that. But who I think think it might be. I got to go with Drew. That would be one of the biggest wins in front of a live crowd.
Yeah.
That man absolutely does deserve that moment.
So I'm on a little bit the opposite side for y'all. Drew McIntyre is one of the guys that I think could beat Roman.
You want Cody? Yeah.
I think it'll be Cody. Cody is the person that I want it to be, who I think it should be, and somebody I think it could be. It just depends, though. I mean, if he wins the Royal Rumble, that's the thing about the Rumble, too. Like, if Roman's double champ, you have to defend the title out there. You know what I'm saying? So
here's what I don't understand about that is, like, I'm pretty sure you guys have read the numerous reports that the plan is for Roman to walk into Mania with both titles, defend against The Rock, and then that'll solidify him as the legend of this era, right? But if we have Cody, here's what I'm thinking, and if this is true, I'm a fucking genius. What I think is gonna happen is Cody will probably end up winning the Royal Rumble, and then end up pulling a John Cena. You remember John Cena came back in 08, pull a John Cena, no way out. I want my title match. I'm not fucking waiting. I think that's what Cody's gonna end up doing. He's gonna win the Rumble and tell Roman, I'm not waiting. I want to bring this title back home to my family. Like, I'm not waiting no more. I want my title match.
You know what I just thought of this in my mind. You know what they could do if they really wanted to do it? It could be a big way to do something, but what if they had the Royal Rumble for the WWE title? And whoever won the Rumble became the WWE champion. And then that person becomes WWE champion. And then WrestleMania, you could have the Elimination Chamber. Whoever wins goes on to WrestleMania to face that person. So Cody can win the Chamber. Seth can win the Rumble or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He goes, and you got Seth and Cody again or something like that. That could be something interesting because if Roman loses the Rumble, he still doesn't get pinned or submitted. Yeah. He's thrown over the top rope. You know what I mean? And it could be more than one person to eliminate him. So it could be like, that could be a good way to get the title off him right there. At least one title. So, I mean, that could be good. I just thought of that at the top of my head. I literally just thought of that. So that could be
a good thing I thought of about a couple weeks ago, about a couple months ago was I was under the assumption that Drew would find a way to win the Rumble and then Roman will be the first man in history to main event both nights at Mania. Mm-hmm. Drew would win night 1, Roman would beat Rock night 2.
That could be something right there. That could be a possibility. I could see that. I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see how it happens. Like I said, who I want it to be is Cody Rhodes. Who I think it will be Cody or Drew. Those are the two people that I've been saying will be the ones. I don't see anybody else doing it. Honestly, though, I don't want it to be Seth Rollins, though. That's the one person I don't want it to be.
Really?
It's not because I don't like Seth. It's just he's always beaten Roman for the title storyline-wise. So for me, if they're going to have another match, Roman has to beat Seth to prove that he can beat Seth for the title. Like, otherwise, you're going to always have that aspect of that he just can't beat Seth for the title. You know what I mean? So I just feel like he has to get that out of the way at least once. I was kind of hoping that was happening at the Royal Rumble, which that was why the ending was so terrible. Because I'm like, number one, the fans wanted to see a winner. So you kind of gave us no winner, which kind of sucked. You know what I mean? And two, like, it's not a match that you build up and have it end to that extent. Like, I get why they had Roman do what he did because the whole Shield revenge type shit, you know what I mean? But, like, that's really – I think fans would have been more happy if Seth had lost the way he just, like, lost instead of just ending it the way he did because now it's kind of like, why would you end the match like that? You know what I mean? Or have Roman lose. But for me, storyline-wise, I just feel like if Roman and Seth are going to face again, Roman just has to win. Just to prove that he can – and he has to do it by himself. No bloodline.
Not to mention that match at the time at the Royal Rumble, that's the match that everybody wanted to see. Like, Drew wasn't even in the conversation because Drew was still doing this bullshit with Madcap and shit.
Yeah, and he was on Raw too. So
and Roman and Seth was like the match. Like we saw the backstage interactions and shit, and all. Like, we wanted that match, and we just never got it.
Like, I like Seth. I wouldn't be upset if Seth is the one, but storyline wise, I just don't think he needs it. I feel like he's always beaten Roman for the titles. You know what I mean? Roman now has this legendary character that he's been. Seth obviously is doing great stuff too, but like, if Roman doesn't beat Seth for the title, then he's just proven that he just can't never beat Seth for the title. I feel like he just has to get that out of the way, and then he can move on to do different stuff. And that's why I said maybe the Rumble thing, if you want to do that and have Seth win the WWE Championship, and then Cody goes on to win the Chamber, you can do that because some people want that story to continue. I don't know how I feel about that because Once again, if they do that, then Cody would have to win for me too, and I don't know if Seth should lose to Cody again. So that kind of like makes another thing like, I don't know if they should do that. So I kind of feel like they should do something different. Personally, I think Seth should do something else at WrestleMania, and Cody, if he's gonna fight for the title, should face like AJ Styles or something. You know what I mean? Somebody different. So
that'd be wild.
Kevin Owens. You know what I mean? So somebody different.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me though. I know a lot of people do want it to be Seth because the connection with the Shield and everything. So I wouldn't be opposed to it. But storyline wise, for me, that's probably the last person I want to see be the one to beat Roman. I'd rather see it be Cody or Drew, or even somebody like Karrion Kross. I just feel like somebody else could. I don't know. I kind of feel the same way about Brock beating Roman, the same way about Seth. I just feel like somebody else could benefit so much more doing it than those two guys, just because we've already seen those guys beat Roman before, and they've already proven that, especially Seth. Like I said, he's always beat Roman for the title, so he's already proven that he can do that multiple times. Roman's now this character that's bigger than it has ever been. So if he has built this character up this entire time just to lose to Seth, the guy who's always beat him, to me, that I don't know. I just don't like that personally. I feel like it should be somebody else. Like Karrion Kross beating Roman, that would make Karrion Kross bigger than ever. Drew McIntyre, that would put him back up at the top where he should be. Cody Rhodes, that would solidify him coming back to WWE when he left AEW, when people said he was crazy for doing that. So I just feel like somebody else could benefit more from doing it. But I don't know. That's just me, though. I don't know how I feel about that. That's my thought process.
No, definitely. I mean, like, I totally understand where you're coming from. I could definitely see the whole Seth winning the Rumble, Cody at the Chamber, you know. But then again, I really don't want a fourth match between them, especially if Seth is to take another loss.
That's how I feel, too. Because, like, I was really surprised they had Cody beat Seth 3 times. I for sure thought Seth was going to win at Backlash, you know what I mean? And then when Cody got injured, I for sure thought he was going to lose to Seth too, because I'm like, well, he's injured, so he only got one arm, so that would make sense for him to lose and go away and come back. But they had him win that match too, so I was like, that to me told me like he really could be the one to beat Roman right there for me. Like that really did something for me, because not only did he beat Seth in the cell, but he did it when he was literally injured. Like if there was a time that made sense for him to lose and be believable, it was really that match, because he literally had one arm, but they had him beat Seth with one arm inside of a Hell in a Cell. So for me, that told me that they were really high on Cody Rhodes coming back, and they really want to build him up as a star, and he could be a legit guy to beat Roman. That's how I saw it. But I mean, only time will tell. We'll see what happens. Let's switch over to the CM Punk stuff real quick. So, just a quick thought: y'all think he's done with AEW? You think it's dead in the water, or do you think Tony Khan will try to fix it? And I mean, we obviously saw the interaction with the interviews. We've heard stuff on social media that he, about the fight and everything, and he got some heat backstage. And it really, honestly, it kind of seems so random, because it kind of came out of nowhere. When Punk came back, it was cool. One of the biggest comebacks ever. It seemed all fine until he became champion. He got injured when he became champion. They didn't want to take the title off him. They did the interim shit. So they did the interim title, and then Punk came back, and then he got squashed and destroyed by Jon Moxley, and then just took the title back, a week later? And then he got injured in that match. But then after that, he did the whole social media stuff with the interview and everything, and he said what he said, and I guess I can understand where he was coming from, because people have been throwing dirt on his name for a while on social media, and he hadn't really said anything. He just was quiet, so I guess he felt like that was the time for him to say what the fuck he wanted to say and just get it out there, because people had been saying stuff about this and that. So he was like, all right, well, people have been saying shit. I ain't said nothing yet, so I'm going to say what I want to say. But he obviously said some stuff that pissed some people off. And then we've heard some stuff saying like, well, I guess there's going to be a contract, but we don't know. But if your gut is telling you, do you think we'll see CM Punk in AEW again? You think it's dead in the water, or you think Tony Khan will try to refix it and bring him back?
I'm fucking tired of Punk, bro. I fucking hate Punk, bro. I'm tired of him. But on the business aspect of things, I can see Tony Khan trying to work it out with Punk, because whether people like it or not, whether I like it or not, Punk is the biggest draw AEW's ever had. He's the one that's bringing in the money, the merch sales, the viewership. So, I mean, who wouldn't want to retain a person like that? Now, if your locker room becomes divided because of this person, that's where it's like,
yeah,
do you value business more, or do you value personal relationships more? But I mean, I hate to compare Tony Khan and Vince, but that's what made Vince so great is he put business first.
That's what I was gonna say though. I don't know if Tony Khan has that Vince in him where he can work that magic of keeping this guy, but also keeping everybody else, there and accept it. You know what I mean? I don't know if he got that in him. Vince, that's what made Vince McMahon so great over the years. Is that okay? We got some shit going on here. Let me do this and let me work on that, and then let me keep everybody else over here and keep them to. I mean, he did it with the Ultimate Warrior when Ultimate Warrior was going through his shit. You know what I'm saying? He did it with a lot of people. But what about you, Beck? How do you feel about it?
Honestly, I feel like if everything that has happened actually did happen, then there definitely does need to be a long period of a suspension, because at the end of the day, like, that's unprofessional. I mean, business aspect, I know this is your job and everything like that, but you can't just go around doing what you please to do.
Right.
So if Tony Khan was to make the decision of fully letting Punk go, business-wise, that would put them in the water. Like, it would take it would take a minute for them to build back up just because of how much of a draw Punk got them. I mean, over this past year, I think AEW's viewership has went up more just due to CM Punk being there. So,
well, one thing too, though, I want to throw out one thing I think they definitely don't have to worry about is if they let Punk go. I don't think he's going back to WWE, so they don't have to worry about that aspect. You know what I mean?
No.
So that's something that they don't have to worry about. But if you keep him, one thing I think you do have to worry about is you got to remember other talent. Like Kenny Omega's contract comes up next year, so like you're gonna want to keep him. So if Punk is still there and he's like, I don't fuck with Punk, man. I don't want to be with him. So like, I don't know. You got to think about other people wanting to still be there, and you got to really think about certain aspects. But I mean, in working relationships, not everybody has to get along to do business. We've seen that. We're seeing that right now with Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle. Like, I don't really think they like each other in real life, but they're working together because it's what's good for business right now. That's what they're doing. I mean, so we've seen that many times. Seeing Punk and Triple H and stuff in the past, on TV, and they don't like each other, but it's what they had to do. It's what they were told to do. So, and Batista,
Matt Hardy and Edge.
I mean, Matt Hardy is a perfect example of that. I mean, that's a real life story right there. Booker T and Batista had a fight at a commercial set, and then they had to work together literally like a month later on SmackDown. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to do what's good for business.
It's what you said earlier. I don't think Tony has that Vince McMahon magic to make everything okay when it's not okay.
That's my thing too. Is that one thing with AEW is that you don't want it to be like a WCW situation where the inmates run the asylum. You know what I mean? Like you don't. That's what killed WCW. So that superstars were booking their own shit. There was no boss. You know what I mean? Like at least with Vince, you knew who the boss was. He had the final say and everything. It was his company. With WCW, it could be Eric Bischoff one week, and then it could be Hogan the next week, and then the Macho Man, and then Kevin Nash. Like you didn't know who was running the show. You know what I mean? You don't want that type of environment. Now Tony Khan, I believe, is running the show, but you don't want superstars to kind of, I guess, walk all over you or get their way or something like that. Like you want to be able to put your foot down, whether it's good or not. Like you have to really. That's what I mean. That's what made Vince Vince. You know what I mean? Like Vince was always to the business is business, and there always was that saying WWE, like, if you don't want to do the job, then Vince gonna find somebody else to do it because somebody else gonna want the opportunity and do it. You know what I mean? So if you don't want to go out there and help make this guy look good, then I'll find somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? So because somebody else will want to do it because put them on TV, they're gonna get paid for it, and at least they're doing something. So I don't know if Tony has that type of magic. Time will find out, and obviously we'll find out if CM Punk comes back or not. I believe that he will, though. I think Tony Khan definitely is going to try to bring him back. I mean, you got to think CM Punk was gone from wrestling for 7 years, so obviously it wasn't easy to bring him back. You know what I mean? So the fact that he brought him back was a big deal, and then now everything has happened. I think he's going to try to amend it and try to make it work together. They don't have to like each other to work together, but you know what I'm saying? I think they're going to try to amend it. They're going to want to keep CM Punk on AEW. I mean, like I said, he's the biggest draw they got right now. You're going to want to make that work. I mean, to not have them. Also, to not have him and have him leave would be one of the saddest returns ever in wrestling history. You know what I mean? Like people, I'm a big CM Punk. CM Punk, one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers ever. I'm a big CM Punk fan, so I waited 7 years for this guy to come back, and I was one of the people who went crazy when he came back. But for it to end like this, it'd be disappointing, for fans like me and people who like CM Punk. You know what I mean? So it's like, hopefully it doesn't end the way it is. Hopefully, there could be more to it, and hopefully something will come of it. But we'll find out what happens. Like I said, I don't know if Tony has that little Vince in him to make that magic work where he can sprinkle some stuff on there. And you also got to think too that I think that's one of the reasons why CM Punk hated WWE, because Vince was always telling him stuff that he wanted to hear and sprinkling that magic and stuff. And he kind of was like, oh, okay, well, I guess if I keep doing this, things will work out. But then they never did. So you don't want Tony kind of do that, and CM Punk kind of be like, oh, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just hearing stuff that I've heard before type stuff. You know what I mean? So that's something that you definitely don't want to hear as well. But only time will tell. We'll see what happens with that. What do you think about Mox, though? I mean, I'm sure we all think MJF is going to be the one to beat him, but he's kind of, I guess you say, carrying the load right now. I mean, he was the champion. Then he wasn't the champion. Now he is the champion again. So I guess they kind of feel independent on him. A lot of people wanted Bryan to win and thought he should have been the guy to win, but I guess storyline wise, it makes sense for Moxley to be the champion, to drop it to MJF. But MJF is another guy too. I think is one of their biggest draws. Getting him back was a big major deal too. So I'm curious to see what that holds. MJF though is somebody. Do you think he's somebody that will go to WWE at some point? He kind of just throws shit around out there on social media, and kind of just saying like this and that. But do you
I feel like MJF would be a great fit for WWE. Especially with like the next 2 years we have, because his contract doesn't end until 2024, so that's still another 2 years that we have. Yeah. I feel like by that time, if everything is still around, which obviously I know it will be, but with that being said, Triple H would have been in power for 2 years by then. I feel like there's going to be a drastic change, and that we could potentially start seeing a lot of these AEW guys transition over to WWE.
What about you? Think MJF's character would be a good fit under the Triple H guidance, Lewis?
I feel like if they went TVP or PG or TV 14, I feel like PG wise though, they would push as much as they could with it.
I think MJF could adapt to the TV PG. I think he can get under the little kid's skin easily. I mean, if the Usos can make little kids fucking cry by beating RK Bro, I'm pretty sure MJF wouldn't even have a problem getting under this skin.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of him going with WWE, I'm at a point where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll believe it when I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, MJF is one of those guys where it's like, I'll believe it when I see it. That was the whole thing with him coming back too. I'll believe MJF is back when MJF is in the ring. And, that's the same thing with me with him in WWE. I'll believe he's in WWE when I see him in the WWE ring. So, I don't know. He's mysterious. The way his kayfabe works, bro, it's just like you don't know if he's actually being Maxwell Jacob Friedman or if he's actually being the character. So,
yeah. Becky, you talked about you think some people will transition more to AEW to WWE, kind of like it was when AEW people were getting the WWE superstars. Who are some people that you think will make the jump, or some people that you like to see make the jump?
Well, to start off, I was not expecting to see Cody back. Like that, to me, like that was a big surprise.
You're not one of the people who thought it was going to be Cody when they were like throwing out the rumors?
Well, leading up to it, the way that, they were saying certain things in promos and everything, it kind of was obvious that it was going to be Cody. But at the end of the day, I still wasn't expecting it to be Cody. Yeah. Just because of what he did in AEW, he basically, brought that company up. So for him to transition from a company that he helped create back to WWE, it's still mind-blowing to me. But, I mean, I could see the likes of potentially getting Young Bucks.
You think so?
I could see Young Bucks. I could even see Omega in there one day.
Omega, I mean, I've been saying Kenny Omega was going to go there. He's one of the people I think is going to go. I also think John Moxley will go back to somebody that I could see going back. I mean, if the creative had been better, I don't think he would have left anyway. Because the creative was terrible at the time when he left. But with Triple H being in charge, I think number one, I think Triple H would allow him to come back as Jon Moxley, and two, Moxley has built his superstardom up bigger. So he's now like a legit. He feels like a legit main event guy now. Like he feels like on the Seth Roman level. Like before when he's in WWE, he never felt that way to me. Like he never felt on that type level. But he's there now. So if he comes back, he would instantly be another credible main event guy. So I could definitely see him going back at some point whenever his contract's up. Kenny Omega, I could see going there. The Bucks, if Kenny goes, maybe. I mean I don't know. They've always seemed like some people that was ever interested going there, but I mean, with everything that's happened now, shit, you never know.
Yeah.
If I'm running WWE and fucking Triple H told me I had one opportunity to bring an AEW guy to WWE, I'm bringing Wardlow, bro. I think Wardlow is the exact perfect fit of what WWE looks for, and I think Wardlow would absolutely thrive in WWE's system.
If I had to pick one person, honestly, I think I would bring Jade Cargill. She put her in the women's division over there with the people that they got with Bianca Belair and Charlotte, and oh my gosh, she brings something different to the table already. She's bigger than a lot of women. She's stronger. You know what I mean, so it's like she instantly boosts up the women's division over there. If you ask me, so
her physique is insane, yo. Like
she's somebody that I definitely would bring over there. Who I want those, I really want Kenny Omega. There's so many matchups. Kenny versus Seth, Kenny versus AJ, Kenny versus Roman, Kenny versus Cody. Like, there's so many things I want to see. So
Kenny versus Edge, like
Kenny versus Edge, like there's Kenny versus Brock. Like there's so many.
Kenny versus Balor. We never got that in New Japan. Can you believe that?
True.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different matchups that I want. Kenny Omega versus John Cena. Like, come on, like there's so many.
Omega and Orton. I mean, that'll be a good
magic. One. There's so many great matchups I want to see. So that's what I'm really hoping to see. But if there's somebody that I would say Kenny and Moxley, I think are going to make the jump. I don't know when, but there's somebody that I definitely could see going over there.
You generally feel Mox is gonna go back?
I do. I see it. I think he still has good relationships over there. His wife still has good relationships over there. Triple H is in charge now, so the creative is different.
Would you bring him back as Jon Moxley?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he has to come back to Jon Moxley.
Yeah,
he can't be Dean Ambrose no more. That's dead in the water. And obviously he can't be as violent as he is, but he's somebody that I could even see Brian going back. I mean, Brian I know is in AEW now, but I don't know. I just feel like Cody Rhodes coming back said something about AEW that we didn't know about. I feel like and obviously he's not going to say it publicly, but I feel like the company isn't going in the direction or isn't what he wanted it to be or thought it could be, because he was one of the founders of AEW. He helped create the company. You know what I mean? So like he was in a position where he's like the vice president. So like he was in a position of power, making probably great money, but he gave that all up to come back to be just another superstar in the WWE, just to hope that he could be the WWE champion. Like, there's no promises by that. Just to hope that that could happen for him. You know what I mean? So that to me was like, okay, like why he didn't want to stay? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously he's not going to stay. Like, I don't think he would ever drag Tony Khan or AEW through the mud like that. If it is something like that, I don't think he'll ever do that. But there's something there's something there that we don't know about. I feel like there's why would he give up? If any of us are we're the boss, right? We're the boss underneath the boss. So like Tony Khan's the boss, Cody is the vice president, whatever he is in the company. He has a position of power. He helped make the company of AEW. He has a little bit of creative control. He's making good money. He's in a good spot. But he left all of that just to come back to WWE, just to be another WWE superstar who doesn't have a position of power. You don't have the same creative freedom over there in WWE you do in AEW. So you have to follow the WWE system. And he came back before Triple H was even in charge. So Vince was still in charge back. So why would you give all that up to come back to the WWE? There's something there that we just don't know about, which that's I don't know if that's what y'all got from that, but that's what I got from it.
No, maybe Cody knew what was going to happen before it happened. Like maybe he knew Tony Khan and CM Punk had a really really tight relationship, and that probably would have caused some friction. I don't know. All we know is fucking Cody left at the perfect time. Like whether he knew it was gonna happen or whether it was just I want to go back to WWE. Like he left at the perfect time. Because shit, I wouldn't want to be in that.
You feel the same way, Beck? You said you were surprised to see him there. So do you feel like there's something else?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like that's the whole reason why. I mean, we all knew that it was gonna be Cody, but we didn't because of all the power he had in AEW. Like you said, creative freedom, got to do what he wanted. He was the right-hand man, basically. So for him to leave all that just to, again, be another WWE guy, that didn't make sense. So there has, or had to have been something going on that we really don't know about.
What's also interesting is Cody, like everybody who's asked him, like, how do you like feel about going back to WWE? It's always, what was it? It's always, it's the easiest decision I've ever made. It's like leaving AEW, like leaving AEW was a easy decision, or like there got to be more to that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why was it? It was.
They probably told him, well, you gonna win a world title, my guy. Come over here, man. Like. I'll be like, I'm blessed. But
so there's got to be a little bit something more. Like I said, we'll probably never know. I don't think Cody Rhodes will ever say it publicly. If he ever does, it'll probably be 30 years from now, when he's old and not wrestling anymore.
Dark side of the ring type shit, yeah.
It won't be any time. Like I said, I don't think he's going to drag the company through the mud. Number one, he still has friends over there who are working for the company, making money, so that wouldn't be fair to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I don't think he's going to do that. But only time will tell. Anybody who knows me knows that Cody Rhodes is my number one guy in AEW. I was never one of the people who disliked him. He was actually my favorite, and I actually wanted him to be the champion really bad, but he just never would make himself the champion.
I thought he was going to beat Jericho, man. That's what I thought. I thought he was going to beat Jericho.
I was hoping. That's why I really want him to be the guy to beat Roman, because I felt like he should have been the AEW World Champion to piss people off more, and he didn't want to do it. So he should. And like I said, he's long overdue for a world title. He never got to be the world champion in Japan. Never world champion.
I've got this like I have like this thing with Cody where it's just Cody himself. Like I don't see him playing a character. I just see him playing like himself. Like I think Cody himself, it just doesn't appeal to the adult audience. Like he just looks like somebody a little kid would like root for. You know what I mean? Like we see the big drastic change in WWE. Like he's getting reactions he never got in AEW. Like people hated him in AEW, and like the main thing about AEW's fan base is that they're adults. You know what I'm saying? And they hated him, and that he's going to a program where it's made for children, and they love him. So like,
kind of reminds me of somebody else that we all
seen him, boy.
I mean, that's the main reason. I mean, honestly, John Cena, I don't want to say he kind of heard it for other people, but he made the mixed reaction thing his identity for so long, which is why he never turned a heel. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like anybody else who gets that type of reaction instantly will be looked at as another John Cena, which people don't say. Roman Reigns had it, the effect. They hated it. Cody Rhodes had the effect. Like if anybody starts to look at you as a babyface that's kind of being portrayed as another John Cena, you're going to be rejected. Just because, number one, people already, a lot of people already hated that at that time, but John Cena made it work. That literally was his identity, and nobody else can really take that from him because it was so unique and so rare. You know what I mean? Like you never saw a guy at the top who was able to get half boos, half cheers, but managed to get the same amount of respect from people and managed to be the top guy for that long. Like you never seen that before. So it's just it probably will be done again. So before we get off here, just so people get to know you more, Beck, let's go ahead and ask some random questions. We talked about some of your favorite wrestlers. Go ahead and give me your top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. You know, it doesn't have to be in order, but just your top 5 personal favorites.
Top 5 personal favorites. Edge, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and I'm gonna have to go with Orton. Randy Orton.
Nice. Okay. What about give me some wrestlers that you never liked? Some wrestlers that you thought were just never appealing to you. Maybe not you didn't hate them, but people that you just weren't big fans of.
Dolph Ziggler.
Ooh,
That
Wow.
I always get hate on that too, but I'm just one of those guys that was just I was never on the Dolph Ziggler train.
Even when he was like over,
Even when he was over, I was always
even with the
always gonna
Miz
be a Miz fan.
storyline, man, you wasn't rocking with the Miz storyline, career versus IC title, no mercy.
Oh, I was rocking with it because I've always been a
Okay.
big Miz guy.
Infamous
Always been a big
opinions
Miz
punch
guy.
in the air, man.
Yeah, Renee too. He punching the air right now. Punching the air. What about another one? Dolph Ziggler's one of them. Do you have another one you want to throw out there?
Goldberg. Never really got the hype around Goldberg.
Damn, Malik.
Now back in WCW, of course, yeah, absolutely. But
Okay.
yeah, this bringing him back and all that, just no, was not.
Well, we're talking about Prime Goldberg though, not the old Goldberg. The Prime Goldberg.
Yeah.
Prime Goldberg was a monster. What about women? What about your top 5 favorite women wrestlers?
Top 5 favorite woman. That's a good one. Becky Lynch, absolutely, hands down.
Number one.
One of my,
She number one.
Not number one. Paige, now known as Saraya. Congratulations to her, by the way, on debuting in AEW. But she was, as soon as she came on that main roster after WrestleMania 30, I have always been a fan of her ever since. She is probably one of my, at least number one.
Okay, so
we got her, Becky,
Lynch.
AJ Lee, another good one that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Sasha Banks, always. And Liv Morgan.
Oh.
I know people are a little iffy on her right now, but I've always been a Liv Morgan guy.
All right, Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I don't know why. I look at you and I'm like, he's gonna say Lita for some reason. Like, you look like a Lita guy to me.
You know what? I did not like Lita or Edge and Lita together back then. I don't know. I was a kid and I was like, I don't like this. I like Edge, but I don't like Lita.
And Malik didn't like it either. He didn't like nobody touching Lita.
I was always more of a Trish. Between Lita and Trish, I was with Trish.
Yeah, I was on the.
I'm Trish all the way.
What about some women that you don't like? Some people that never appealed.
Charlotte Flair.
Why? Relax.
I knew you were gonna say. I only knew you were gonna say Charlotte because you said Sasha, you said Becky. I'm like, you don't like Charlotte, then. He said those two. So
overhyped, overused. What? I just don't like her. I'm sorry. No offense to anybody that does. I respect you and your own opinions, absolutely. But I just do not like her. Same with Ronda Rousey. I don't.
Ooh, that one kind of stings. I'm not gonna lie.
There would be a drastic turn though, if there was ever a chance that Ronda and Shayna had a storyline together. Absolutely, I'm all behind it. But right now, titles. It's too much.
You hurt my soul with that Charlotte, man.
What about favorite tag team? You got favorite tag team of all time?
Favorite tag team of all time.
Or 3. Name your top 3. You can throw out 3.
Hardys would be my favorite of all time as a tag. Dudley Boys.
Respect for the Dudleys.
Liked them a lot. You know what? Mega Powers. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Mega Powers, Hogan and Macho Man storyline. That's one of the great storylines ever. That's a really good storyline. Back then, I mean, you have to go back and rewatch it. People weren't alive then, but that's a really good storyline.
It's crazy when you watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode too.
Yeah, the Dark Side of the Ring episode was pretty good. Was pretty wild. It was pretty wild too. If you've seen it, give me some of your favorite matches that you could go back and just rewatch anytime. Just your personal favorites. You can name a couple if you want.
Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. WrestleMania 2026 Street versus Career.
Well, you like Street versus Career one, okay? That one too.
Yes. That one I liked it because of the fact that the storyline was there. You had that whole year build up, the whole downfall of HBK and just his obsession with that man. Just That's why I love the WrestleMania 25 match. Don't get me wrong, that match was beautiful. But storyline wise, that's just the culmination of everything coming together, and the way that it went and the way it ended was one that I can go back and just watch. Another one. It would be 2 in the same night, Bryan and Triple H at WrestleMania 30, as well as the triple threat match.
That was pretty
Again,
good,
I'm a big storyline guy. I love when a storyline comes full circle and closes. And that whole 2013, 2014 storyline with Bryan and the Authority is one of my favorite storylines of all time.
That shit was good. That was must watch TV right there every week. The way they built Daniel Bryan, that was perfectly in my line. They made him the ultimate underdog babyface, where people were just extremely. Then when they took over that Monday Night Raw with all the fans, that was crazy. Man.
Oh, that was unexpected. Was not expecting that to happen.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was like one of the biggest pops you've ever seen.
The Authority storyline was cool, but peak Daniel Bryan against the Wyatt family, that's what I really loved, yo. That was some goat shit, yo.
I enjoyed that too. That was great.
That was some wild shit.
I did like that one too, when he was in the Wyatts and then he turned on the Wyatts and everything. That was pretty dope too. People were like, people went absolutely nuts for that pop too. Like that pop was insane at that time when that was going on. You can throw out one more match. You could throw out another one if you have to. It could be any type of match.
One more, of course, CM Punk and John Cena. Money in the Bank, Chicago. That match was beautiful. Beautifully done. I could not imagine a better way to do that match.
They had me with that storyline too. I honestly, I really thought CM Punk was going to go TNF WWE title. I swear to God, I did. I was like, he's showing up at TNF title. I swear to God, he is. Like, I promise you, I thought that was going to happen. I thought it was like some type of WWE TNA thing going on at the time. I was like, he's going to show up in TNA title. Like, it's going to happen. Like, I really thought it was going to happen. I was kind of hoping it would happen too. I wish it would have happened because that would have been insane. Like if Punk had showed up with the title on stage or something like that, people would have lied. Like, the Forbidden Door wouldn't even talk about back then, but that would have been like that would have opened up so much shit.
What's that? Bring me a question real quick, just because I'm curious on what you might think about this, because I know with the whole Vince McMahon era that it would never happen, but now with Triple H in charge, do you see there ever being a Forbidden Door opportunity, or at least happening, between WWE and Impact, them coming up together with AEW, even New Japan? Like, do you ever see a potential?
I don't know about
it happening.
Well, yes, I think Triple H. If it's gonna happen, I think it'll be with New Japan. He's already taken a lot of the Japanese stars, Shinsuke Nakamura, Asuka. Io's up there now. I mean, Kushida went over there. Like he obviously, if he doesn't watch the product, he's familiar. Like, people. So, I don't know about AEW and WWE. That would have to be something that fucking would have to go down between those two, and they would have to agree on something. But I could see New Japan and WWE doing something for sure. Like I definitely could see that happening.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, will it happen? I don't know, but I mean,
yeah,
that's something that I definitely could see happening for the future. Last one. You said did you watch NXT at all, or you said you did familiar with NXT?
Yes.
Give me your top 5 favorite NXT superstars during the NXT
era. Now, going to be like superstars that are already on the main roster, but during NXT.
Yeah, just during that NXT era, like when they were in NXT during their peak. It could be men and women. Good name. You can do both.
All right. Adam Cole. Absolutely loved his portrayal in that. Drew McIntyre. Cross. I loved how they did Cross in that. Shayna Baszler was a big one for me in NXT.
That was great.
Me and Lewis are big Shayna guys, so
hell yeah.
And then another one, Asuka. I loved how they portrayed Asuka in NXT.
Asuka was another one for me that if it wasn't for Asuka, Shayna Baszler would have been the dominant one. She never lost, so I mean, she was killing everybody in NXT. I wish I wish she would have been there when Shayna was Baszler there, though, man. That would have been like big money time right there. Like they both kind of got the same finisher too with the sleeper and everything, so it would have been big just to see that come down. What about a takeover match? Give me some takeover matches real quick before we head off here.
Oh, takeover. It's been a minute since I've seen a takeover match. What was it? Joe and Balor.
Which
I
one?
think it was. I believe the first one. The first one was when Joe
London?
won, right?
No. Joe won at the end. Take over the end in the steel cage.
That's what it was. Yeah, that one. I liked that one. Obviously, any NXT Takeover Brooklyn show is great, just because that crowd really makes it. War Games.
I'm excited.
What was it? The Undisputed Era and who are they going up against? I think it was Pete Dunne.
Ricochet and the Viking Raiders.
Ricochet and the Viking Raiders, yeah.
Yes, that was
a
really good match.
I'm excited to see what they do with War Games this year. I'm excited to see.
The whole Survivor Series thing that threw me off. I was not expecting that.
That's pretty sick, man. I do like that. Last question before we get out here: who is your Mount Rushmore of WWE? Just WWE. Who's on your Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore.
The greatest 4 WWE superstars of all time.
Undertaker.
Undertaker's on there.
Sure.
Shawn Michaels.
All right, Shawn Michaels.
Triple H.
Oh, Triple H. Okay.
And R-Truth. Not even joking. That man is long overdue for a world title run.
Yeah, I don't think he'll probably ever get it. R-Truth probably won't. I mean, I think he's in his 50s now. I mean, which is crazy. He doesn't even look like it, but R-Truth definitely could have been at least world title, like 2008, 2009-ish.
Could have beaten Cena. I'll stand by that.
When he was Little Jimmy, doing the Little Jimmy stuff, that could have been another time too. That was 2011. I was really into that R-Truth. I had the Little Jimmy T-shirt and everything, so I was really into to that one.
Man, 2011 was such a weird year. That was when Christian finally fucking won the title. Thank fucking God.
Yeah, the Christian that 2011 was a good year though. The Orton and Christian storyline, they had Cena and Punk.
I love 2011, but that storyline, I hate Randy for the rest of my life for that. I fucking fuck Randy.
The Rock came back that year too, so it was like that was pretty good. Triple H and Undertaker stuff at WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels involved. They're still continuing that storyline too. So, and they had the stuff. Remember, like with R-Truth and The Miz when they were beating up like authority figures and stuff too. Like
when they what was it when they interfered? What was it? The triple threat steel cage between Del Rio, Punk, and Cena, right?
The cell match.
Yeah,
that was weird too. In the summer of Punk, you know what I mean. So 2011 was a pretty interesting year though. So. All right, though, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be back Monday for another Jeopardy edition. So stay tuned for that Monday coming for another Jeopardy. Make sure you guys follow all social medias for Beck and go check out the Wrestling Chop Chop YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming on. Always good chatting. Good chatting.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
No problem, man. All right, you guys be safe.